I was at Great Clips today getting my haircut. And I think the whole haircut industry, at least for like men, I guess, maybe not for women as much. I think a salon is a salon, and you probably, I think women are much more, majority of women are much more particular on having a particular hairdresser, right? And you go into most men might just go to a barber. And for some reason, I've kind of gone away from barbers, and I do more of like the Great Clips.
Okay.
And the Hair Cuttery is another national chain. But the whole business model has changed, where now you go on an app and you check in, and you can't really select a stylist. You just show up at the stores that are open that day, because post-COVID, a lot of people don't want to work and they're having a hard time finding stylists. And so not every store is open every day. And so you have to kind of check the app, and you check in and it'll tell you, 100 minutes, 50 minutes. And it's like, you have to really plan to like get your haircut. But then I show up, and this goes right back to kind of what we were saying as far as customer service. If I had other options, I would go somewhere else. But then you're like, I don't really have a lot of options, because it's just as much of a hassle, because there's just not that many stylists and barbers and stuff around. And then you have to wait forever. But I come in and there's like 4 of us waiting. And even though they're really good at like checking you in, from there on, there was no more communication with us as customers. And then the one person, she finishes up with the customer and doesn't say anything, like, hey, I'll be right with you, because I was next. And then 3 other people sit down, and I can see they have a very nice system, and I can see I'm going to be the first one that's called. She just disappears.
Yeah.
Doesn't come back. I guess she's on lunch. I guess she's on break. But then what do you do? And so I was kind of thinking like United, like, for example, like if United has the only nonstop route from Atlanta to Honolulu, then I guess you can piss off that customer all you want. They're going to fly Atlanta to Honolulu because they're you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wonder, does some of your customers have that mentality in a way, like, they can do whatever. We're the only ones that provide what they need, so be it.
So there are definitely companies like that. What binds our community together is that they're not that. So in the airline industry, there are airlines that actually have promoted that they no longer have customer service centers. And I won't, share that, but they're out there and they actually promote it now. There's no more, don't call us. And our community still rallies. Again, they don't always get it right. They're the largest brands in the world, but they're all mission oriented on the customer service, on being able to serve customer. And so that's, if you're not that, if that's not in your company's belief, then you don't choose TPG. And you never have, because we're not a right fit for you. I had a client once years ago, a mobile company. They needed to save money. And so they decided toward the end of the year, they were trying to hit their annual budgets. So they called and said, hey, we're going to shut the phones off, literally, for 2 weeks. I said, what do you mean you're going to shut your phones off? The customer service phone. So if you were going to call them, if you had a problem, an outage, anything, you would get a fast busy. And I said that you can't do that. They were like, well, yes, we can. There's no law. It's true. There's no law against that.
Yeah.
So that's what they did. And I thought, okay, maybe that's just a freak moment. They did it again 4 months later. And so then we said, we can't work with you. We resigned the account because it would damage the community brand.
Yeah.
And so we're really passionate about that. So they don't work. If that's the type of company they are, and they're out there. But our community just does not believe in that. They might get it wrong, but boy, they're trying. How's that? That's,
And there's obviously many reasons why you would pull out, but one of them has to be then it just distorts all the statistics.
Yeah.
And they're going to use that against you later.
Yeah.
Well, there was a 2-week gap. Well, that type of thing too.
Yeah. Well, it distorts the statistics when we benchmark, but more importantly, I'd say, the brands that we won't mention that everybody hates. The whole globe seems to hate them. If I have them on our roster as the worst, worst brand in this industry. Yeah. If everybody knows it's a terrible brand, and I say terrible, I mean like lousy customer service.
Yeah.
Then yet it's on our logo. Then what does that say about TPG? We're the ones trying to improve customer service.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
We got to be careful with that. So anybody that wants to not really play in that game, and there are companies in every industry. that, and they'll stay. Listen, I don't have to worry about that because we're going to lean in on just the quality of our product.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only thing. It's either you buy it, you don't buy it. The product is good, and that's about all we want to offer. And that's great. But if they won't close out the service, then and everyone's going to talk about them on social media,
Yeah.
but they're terrible, then they can't be a part of our community.